Welcome to part 2 of the Master Views tutorial. In this video, you'll be building off the Landmarks of Paris start file introduced in the previous video, Master Views Part 1. So if you haven't yet watched that video, I recommend that you do so before watching this one. In this video, you will arrange existing slide layouts, create new slide layouts, and modify the handout and notes master views. Head back into PowerPoint to get started. Open the start file from the last video and enter the slide master view from the View tab. Now you will alter a few of the slide layouts. Changing layouts works a little like changing the slide master, but it only affects the slides in your presentation that use that layout, and does not affect the slide master or any other layouts. Since you're already here, start with the title slide layout. Insert the Eiffel Tower clip art file from the Paris Pictures folder. Once you've inserted it, position the image in a place that you like. I'm going to try and line it up right on top of the title, here. Now close the master view from the Slide Master tab and go back to the title slide. Perfect, the image is there and the font in the subtitle has changed to Century Gothic. But if you try to select the image, you can't, because the image isn't actually part of the slide, it's part of the slide layout. You can hide the image by clicking on the Format Background button in the Design tab and selecting Hide Background Graphics. But you can't alter the image unless you return to the Slide Master view. Next, you'll check out some of the other slides. For the most part, they're alright. But it seems like the new body font is causing some unwanted text wrapping, and there are still a couple unused images in the Paris Pictures folder. Obviously, the Notre Dame picture should go on the Notre Dame slide, but the space allocated to it isn't quite large enough to fit the whole image. The picture of the Ile aux Cygnes should go with the content about the island, but there is already a picture on the slide that's formatted for it. You'll go back to the Slide Master view to get ready to put those in. To get there more quickly, hold Shift and click the Normal button at the bottom of the window. You'll start with the text wrapping issue. The problem really only appeared on the picture with caption layout, so go to that slide and change the text size to 14. Then, resize the text box to match the width of the title. If you return back to the normal view, the problem should be fixed. Great. Now you'll deal with these troublesome pictures, starting with the Notre Dame picture. If you open the picture from the folder, you can tell that it's quite wide, and the presentation doesn't really have a format for that. You could create one from scratch with the Insert Layout option, but I prefer to start from a slide that's already mostly set up. To use a slide layout similar to the picture with caption layout while having the picture take up the entire slide, you'll need to duplicate that layout. To do this, go back to the Slide Master view, right-click on the picture with caption layout and select Duplicate Layout. To rename it, right-click on the duplicate slide and select Rename. Rename this layout Picture with Caption Overlay. You'll use it to have the picture of Notre Dame fit perfectly across an entire slide. Now you'll arrange the slide to do that. First, uncheck the footers. I don't think it makes sense for them to be overlaid on a picture anyways. Then delete the blue rectangle from behind the caption. Then extend the picture placeholder across the whole slide. Right-click on it and select Send to Back so that it's behind the title. Finally, change the shape styles a little on the caption. To create some contrast, a white fill with a 3-point black border and black text will work well, so apply those styles to the title and body. Now that that's all ready to go, you'll make a layout that will allow you to cleanly put the Ile aux Cygnes picture into your presentation. I think it would work well on the title and content slide that comes after the picture and caption slide. You don't want to alter the title and content layout itself though, because that would change the other slides in the presentation, so duplicate it first. Name the new layout Title and Content with Picture. First, resize the content placeholder to make room for a picture. Now you'll insert a picture placeholder. To do this, click on the Insert Placeholder drop-down menu and select Picture. Now draw the picture placeholder and resize it to the dimensions you want the picture to fit into. There. Now go back to the normal view and put the pictures in. Start with the Notre Dame picture. Notice how the layout hasn't just changed magically. It's still in the picture with caption layout. Select the new layout you created, the picture with caption overlay layout. Now drag and drop the Notre Dame file onto the picture placeholder. The picture now fits perfectly. Now change the size and position of the overlaid text to make the cathedral more visible. Now repeat the process with the title and content slide following the Il Osinius slide. Change the layout to Title and Content with Picture, then drag and drop the Il Osinia picture into the placeholder. Good. Now put a border around this to give it some contrast with the background. Now you may be thinking, why not just drag and drop the pictures instead of creating placeholders for them? Remember that the layouts you created are now saved, so you can use them again if you need to. For example, the picture on the If You Go slide works well, so you'll reuse the layout on the slide after the Louvre's picture. Change the layout to Title and Content with Picture, then select the placeholder, open the Insert tab, and insert an online picture of the Louvre. Now add a border around this picture. What's great about this is that it creates a lot of consistency in your presentation. Think about it. The If You Go for the Louvre and the If You Go for Il Osinia now have the exact same positioning, so you don't have to spend any time flipping back and forth between the slides trying to get them just right. So far you've learned how to use the Slide Master view to change slide layouts and the overall presentation. You've changed the Slide Master and created a few custom layouts. Great. Now you're ready to print off some handouts and notes for your presentation. First, open the Handout Master view from the View tab. This works a lot like the Slide Master view. You have design options at the top, and you can choose which placeholders to include in your handouts. You can't really choose a theme from here, but if you create your own themes that include a theme for the Handouts page, you can use them here. Most of the time, you'll just want to use a white background for the Handouts page, but in this case we'll try a different background. Open the Background Styles drop-down menu and select a background style. I'll choose Style 9. To change the font for the header and footer, click and drag over the entire page area to select the text boxes. Choose a font to change them to. I'll use Century Gothic again. You can also change the orientation or select a different number of slides per page. Close the Handout Master and open the Notes Master view. You'll only change the fonts of the header, date, footer, and page number. You don't want the notes to be too difficult to read. Click and drag the cursor over each set of text boxes while holding the Control key to select them, and then select a font. You can also change the page orientation here. Close the Notes Master view and open the Print dialog in the File menu. In the drop-down menu where it says Full Page Slides, change it to Print Your Notes Pages, and notice how the page number uses the font you selected. You can also add a header from here. Click the Edit Header and Footer button, click the checkbox for Header, and type in a header. I'll use Paris Presentation and click Apply to All. Notice how it is in the font you selected. Try changing the Print dialog to print handouts or an outline, and notice how the pages take on the gradient you set up as well as the font changes. In this video, you arranged existing slide layouts, created new slide layouts, and modified the Handout and Notes Master views. For more information about Microsoft PowerPoint and other computer literacy topics, visit our website at weber.edu/clc.